Hey guys, welcome back. So this is video 1 of our cruise to Antarctica with NCL on the NCL Star. So we flew in and out of Buenos Aires and we had a 2-week cruise. The second video is going to look at Antarctica. This first video is going to look at all the ports. So this was the starting and stopping point at Buenos Aires. We had a one night in an Airbnb. And then we jumped on the ship the next morning, kind of walked around the ship, got to know it. This is our first time sailing with NCL, so similar to the Carnival ship that we had been on previously. But, you know, wanted to kind of get a layout and enjoy the scenery. So our first stop, day 1 of the cruise after we spent the night, was Montevideo, and it's Uruguay. We did a bike riding tour along the coast and kind of stopped and saw some of the highlights, some of the plazas, fountains, churches along this bike riding tour to get some of the history. And it was about a half a day, I guess, excursion, and then we had a couple hours at the end to do our own thing. And then we headed back to the ship for a nice evening, a day at sea. And then our next port would be Puerto, Madryn in Argentina. Now for this port, mostly just a beach stop. There were a lot of penguin excursions that you could do. We chose not to do that. We've seen penguins a couple times already in our travels, so we just got off the ship to walk along the boardwalk at the beach. Again, enjoy the views. Beautiful weather that day. And then we had another day at sea before we went to Punta, Chile. Now, unfortunately for this port, the weather was kind of rough that morning, but it was predicted to be a lot rougher seas that they weren't even sure if they'd be able to get the boats, tender boats back. It's a tender port, so we were not able to get off the ship there. Instead, we sailed 12 hours through the Chilean fjords, seeing all the islands for about 12 hours on our way to Ushuaia, Argentina, for the next day. So in Ushuaia, we did book a tour since it's the end of the world. Very beautiful city, very beautiful port. We kind of did a Tierra del Fuego National Park tour. This is the end of the world post office, which was part of that tour. And then the second half was a sea life cruise around the waters and back to Ushuaia from the national park. So we had a couple good stops in the national park. Again, the sun came out, wonderful weather, just the mountains with the greenery and the water. It just made a very beautiful excursion. We really enjoyed our day here. And then this would be the last port for quite some time. We had the next 4 days crossing the Drake, going to Antarctica, and then back across the Drake. And then we'd only have one more port stop in Stanley for the rest of this trip. So this is a couple of the ports they had scheduled in the first of the week, just to kind of let you explore different cultures, different history, just different areas of South America, and then the pretty much a week devoted to Antarctica. After you got back from Antarctica, the last port you would get to stop in if the weather was lucky, and we got lucky with the tender boats to go to Stanley in the Falkland Islands. Again, a lot of king penguin colonies, a lot of penguin tours here. We opted just to walk around and to do kind of a self-explore of the port. Very small port. We actually got off the ship, walked it, went back and got lunch, and then got off the ship again and walked it around a second time. But again, lucky with the weather. It was a beautiful day. And then, of course, we returned back to Buenos Aires and did the excursion touring the city before we headed back to the airport. And please like and subscribe.